Welcome back to the channel. How are you getting on? Brendan here, the Bullet Wanderer, and today I'm not going to go too far. I thought I'd just show off the brand new and improved Daisy Bell V2, or depending on what way you count it, V73.5 or something like that. She's a real ship of Theseus situation, or Trigger's broom as some people say. You know, I had a broom, I had to replace the head, and then I had the stick on the broom broke, so I had to replace the stick. Is it the same broom? Well, in this case, yes, it is the same bike, but I've made a number of changes, most cosmetic, but hand in hand with those cosmetic changes, I had to do them because, well, leaky petrol tank, that kind of thing. But we'll find some spot out here now, and we'll pull in, we'll have a look and see what's what with Daisy Bell V2. How's she sounding to you? Let me pull this up, you might hear better. Or you might just be hearing wind noise. Who can say? Summer's here. No summer trips planned this year really myself, as yet. But hopefully we'll do some local stuff. Hope you enjoyed the D-Day video there the other day. It's a lot of nice comments, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in. I know a lot of you would have seen most of that before, but when most of those D-Day videos were going up, it was when I was around 600 subscribers, so early days. Now we're around 3,000, and I can think of no better way to spend a June weekend than just ambling through the lanes with my dear old Daisy Bell. How's the weather in your part of the world? Hoping not for a wet summer now. Last summer was very wet, so I didn't really get out too much. Of course we did go to Clare, but even that was wet every day except for going back. Tread the needle, says you. Up to Johnswell or to the left? The left looks like some kind of estate. Speedo, what are we at? 2,600 kilometers, so Daisy Bell's mileage, what's that? 33,000 miles, we'll say 34, plus 2,600 kilometers, we'll say 1,500 miles. What is it? 5/8 of a mile is a kilometer. You do the maths. But she's probably sitting pretty, coming around up to 4,000 miles. Is she flying it? She's doing her best. And the same for myself. Had my 30th birthday there the other day. One of the new additions to the motorbike is a birthday present from me to me. We'll get into that story once I get off and show you. Although I suppose from me to Daisy. Had a lovely surprise party. Go on, sure, there's the clip of me being surprised. Although I had a feeling, but they... But it was a great time, was had by all, and Daisy wasn't there because pubs are not for bikes, but she was there on the cake. There was a nice picture on the cake, which I really appreciated. So 30, something of a milestone, isn't it? Hopefully we can keep plugging away with what we're doing here with Daisy on the channel and set some new goals for the future. Maybe make some plans aiming towards summer 2025. Itchy Boots didn't get out on, what was the original bike saying, Basanti, until she was 31, I believe. So maybe I'll put all the little money I have together and just heck off to India and buy a Himalayan, or figure out a way to ship Daisy over there. At least that goes wrong. Plenty of people over there know their stuff with the Bullet and be not a bother to her. Slight spoilers from your point of view, depending on what the camera's field of view is. the main big new thing. Of course, I've talked about it briefly in the channel, so if you're up to date, it isn't unexpected. Maybe in there, or there's somewhere on the right. What a gateway with a view, eh? What a stunning day. Couple of clouds in the sky, but it's nice out. And aren't we blessed to have our Daisy Bell? So, well, there you go. There's the big new thing. Let's get off and have a look. Hopefully there's no farmer coming into or leaving this field for the next 5 minutes. Yep. So, with some beautiful pastoral imagery in the background. Lovely part of Kilkenny this. This is up by Brown Mountain, I think, where just up that way to the left, there's kind of like a little foresty road, and I like to stop off there and film things sometimes. Like the video going over the camera equipment I use, just because it's off the beaten track and quite enough. But here she is, Daisy, in all her brand new Daisy Bell V2 glory. Or perhaps you might call her a Bruff inferior look. Because you know the Bruff superior had a chrome tank, chrome all over, with black accents and gold pinstriping, so I call it the Bruff inferior look. So the tank is the main new thing, but there's a couple of other changes, so let's have a look at them. So going front to back, we have new brake pads in there, because the old ones were squawking, and the new ones are also squawking, but sure, look, it's character, isn't it? They brake fine though, no issues there. Coming back from the front, of course we have Daisy Bell there, which I think matches really nicely to the Royal Enfield on the classic 500 tank. Brand new look, I just love it. Refreshing, you know. The reason I replaced the tank is the old one was kind of leaking, and you can do things to fix that, but it's happened 2 times before, I think. We fixed it twice before, but that one's sitting at home now, so at least it's there as a spare, and it's going to be filled with the, you know, that fluid. You shake the tank around, it finds all the crevices and seals them up. We're gone back to the stock. Actually, before I continue, I know people love in-progress videos, but unfortunately the early bird got the worm the morning we were doing most of this work, and by we I mean my dad. I was having a long birthday nap, and he got to work, so by the time I came down most of the tank was changed. But here's him filling up the oil for the first time. The petrol.
No, you can't put me on the internet. What? You're all whinging at you now, saying, oh, you should have a nozzle for that, but I don't, because it's broken.
What do you say the red paint is called? Lead paint?
Well, we would have called it red lead here. It's just an anti-rust coating.
Hopefully it won't be as much petrol-y smells going around. So he did most of the work, unfortunately, but here's what that probably looked like. Tank goes off. Bits are harvested from the old tank, slapped onto the new tank. New tank goes on. So we're going to have to redo the intro, aren't we? So there you go. If I went through the effort of doing that today, we'll see. I really love this new tank, but we'll come back to that in a second. So the silencer, the suppressor, the exhaust. It's gone back to the stock exhaust. Now, people love the sound of the other exhausts, and I do too, but sometimes I'm afraid it's a bit too loud, and ironically enough, I've had more problems with the lighter Hitchcock's exhaust than I have with the stock one, even though the stock one is obviously heavier and more weighty. Whatever it is about the other pea shooter style exhaust, it just kept either breaking brackets or breaking up there at the top. Now, that could have been because of the bracket in there. We'll go around to the other side so you can see that. Oh, the seat is hot. This bracket is replaced with one of the heavy duty ones from Hitchcock's. The default bracket that goes from the frame to the engine at the top there is like those mudguard stays. Fine for the mudguard, but that's getting a lot of vibration, so that snapped at some point, who knows when. But a lot of people think that was the culprit for the exhaust coming off, and you could be right. I don't know, to be honest with you, but I'll take your word for it. But since that new one's gone on, the exhaust has stayed put. The old exhaust was kind of fused. We intended to just slide it off, you know, with a bit of elbow grease, but it kind of fused to the up pipe, so Dad got the bandsaw, the hacksaw, you know, and there's the aftermath of that. So unfortunately, the old silencer is kaput, and it's gone in the great silencer heaven in the sky. But it was nice while it lasted. Now, I am a fan of the stock sound on this, and a lot of people have said to me, but the stock exhaust, it's too thin, it'll like choke the engine and stuff like that. And you might be right, but you know, it's a manufacturer specification. They're going to get it to a certain standard that it'll last as long as it can. And I don't go inside and fiddle with the ECU and all that kind of stuff, because that's beyond me. And to be honest, the horsepower she outputs, it's perfect for me. You know, 80 kilometers bimbling along, little bit more to give, and that's fine. So I keep her stock internally as I can. And with the stock exhaust as well, maybe it's placebo, maybe not, but I find the oil level, which obviously it looks empty there, that's because she's on her side stand, it tended to stay more consistent, you know, whatever it was about the other exhaust. Now, the other exhaust, the baffle came out, so in a lot of videos you can hear it rattling around, and maybe there wasn't enough push back, what do you call it, that, you know, some kind of physical force of nature that I'm bad with words, and it's very hot today, especially with the helmet on off the bike, but this is your best way of seeing it. It backfired a lot as well. This one doesn't really backfire so much, or maybe it does, but you just can't hear it. But I don't know, I just feel better with the stock exhaust on. And I don't know, a lot of people prefer the smaller look, but I kind of like that it's, you know, nice big old exhaust. It's very pretty, and it's very shiny compared to a lot of the rest of the chrome. Yeah, you can see what's new and what's been there unwashed for a while. The engine mainly, and the up pipe on the exhaust, and she needs a decent wash. Moving up from there, we've got the single seat saddle again. Now, I've taken passengers in a Daisy, but half of the time, 50% of the time I've taken passengers, I've had issues. She's a one person gal, so we'll keep it that way until there's a Mrs. Wanderer. I'd say the single saddle will be staying on. But that means that back here, there was no rack, so I went back to the old chrome rack, which you can see there. And I think just the nice accents of chrome here, here, and up there at the headlight, you know, the visor. It just pops really nicely, and I really like that. Now, from this point of view, you might be able to see the tank. It's black here, rather than dark green. Now, I think the colours are close enough that she gets away with it. You might disagree, but I'm a big fan of this now. I won't be putting the tank bag back on for a while anyways, because that can leave little scratches. It didn't... Hard to know with the other tank, was it just natural wear and tear, or was it from having the bag on? You can put like a muslin sheet underneath it, and that'll protect it a bit. But as the tank is brand new, I think I'll leave her without the tank bag on, just to keep it looking brand new for as long as it wants to look brand new. The other thing was, there is a forest green version of this tank. You know, the stripe here matches this colour, same with this. I ordered one of those from India, cost me €270 including shipping. Great, you know, it never shipped. It's a long story, but I managed to get my money back from eBay. And then this tank is from Hitchcock's. It's about £325, I think, so that was about €400, plus the shipping, which was another 100, plus the income duty, which came to about 100. I ordered the tank and the new brake pads, so we're talking 600. So happy birthday, Daisy. I hope you enjoy it, because you flushed me out of more than a week's wages. But it's worth it to keep this old machine on the road, you know. Also, finally put this back on. I don't know if people notice, but the rubber there has been missing since Germany. Last summer, from when we went from Switzerland up to Freiburg in Germany, at some point I lost that. Marty says he saw it happening, but obviously we were moving quickly, so he couldn't stop and tell me, hey, you lost that on the autobahn. Well, not the autobahn, but somewhere. And I think that's most of the new things. So this is the new and approved Daisy Bell, and I just think she's a stunner, you know. I was at the traffic lights there in Kilkenny, just by the castle, and there was a tourist, I'd say, or someone, you know, the typical tourist appearance with the bucket hat, a nice Hawaiian shirt, shorts. Older gentleman came over with a camera and he took a few pictures of me. He's like, it's a lovely bike, and, you know, complimenting me. And don't know where those pictures will go, but if you happen to be watching the channel, send them on to me, because I'd love to see them. So she's still eye-catching. I would say she's all the more eye-catching with this tank, and you can see me in it. This is my summer driving outfit, you know, you remember from last summer. A bit looser now, which is good. Not showing off, but I will, why not? What else? Oh, this likes to rattle around, so we just thrown a strap between it and the battery box cover just to stop that rattle. Another thing with the old exhaust was it was rattling, so at least this way, with that off, I can tell if I'm hearing a rattling, it's a brand new rattle. So, oh, the rattling bike, the bike down in the valley, oh, find out what the new rattle is. I hope you like it. I know I love this new look. Now, some people might say the other tank was nicer and went together with it, which obviously it did go better with it because it was designed for it, but I'm very happy with it. It's a lovely new look and it's refreshing, and there's no more petrol leaking. You know, I was only putting in about a £5 worth of petrol, which gives you about 3 litres or something like that. So she was always kind of running on empty for the last while, but now giving her a full new tank and she's happy as Larry. And she's thinking that man is talking to himself, which I am, until it goes to YouTube. So what's next for Daisy? Well, give her a good clean. Might do that when I get back. I'm lazy. I'm probably going to do it tomorrow. Take it easy tomorrow. There's one last thing, and I save this for the end because most people don't watch to the end, but those that do are going to kill me over this. She needs a new rear sprocket. Look at this. Where are they? Yeah. She was hungry at some point, who knows when, but 2 of those teeth got ate. So I'm ordering a new rear sprocket. So until then, we're going to be taking it easy. I only noticed it when I was showing off the bike to Marty last weekend when I drove it back to Kilkenny. It was Tuesday and he said, bro, you're missing 2 sprockets. And I was like, what? And he was like, she ate them. And then I looked and what horror. But c'est la vie avec le bullet. Things like this are going to happen. Now that was my own fault probably, because I did have the chain on a bit too tight. I loosened it and I didn't notice this until I got back to Kilkenny. What can you do? Learn your lesson, move on. It's about a 50 quid cause pounds, to buy that hunk of metal that is the rear sprocket, but we'll get one, we'll slap it on, and we'll be on the road again, hopefully sooner than later. But for now, you can go ahead and roast me in the comments for that, or you can be nice to me and say, oh, this happens to everyone. I googled all the things, you know, replace as soon as possible, but there just happened to be another Royal Enfield, I think it was Classic 350, but of this same vintage, that he had broken 2 teeth off his as well, and he rode it for like another 7,000 kilometers or something like that until he was going on a trip to Goa. So he said, you know, then obviously I replace it, but until then it was fine, just take it easy. So one last little spin around and I'll leave you to it. So thanks so much for watching the video today. I hope you enjoy Daisy Bell's smashing new look. 30, flirty and thriving, isn't that right? Something to that effect. I don't know. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!